I don't have my character sheet out, but yeah.
You'll be able to get that in a second.
What's
So,
up?
so to pick up on where we were from Saturday, after parlaying with the dragon for most part and seemingly impressing it in some regard, it has snatched the pair of you up and flown off at a tremendous speed. It flies for a little over a day to the mountains.
Damn it.
Mm?
Exhaustion level.
Do you automatically get one, or do you have to make a con save?
I believe I automatically get one.
Check that, because it might be con save.
Yep. If you fail to immerse yourself in water for at least 1 hour, 1 hour during a day, you suffer 1 level of exhaustion at the end of that day.
Yeah, and during flight you've got no hope of it. And let me check the map as to how far you will have gone. Map. Loading map, loading map. Because I need to work out how many days it is, or you may have to try and make a persuasion check to attempt to request him to allow you to land temporarily.
Froze you in river.
I can imagine the dragon just doing that. Like, literally just... No, the dragon just gouges a hole out of the ground, pees, and then says, "That's fine. Do your thing." Just, it'll be like, really?
I don't think the dragon's that vindictive.
It's also a relatively dignified dragon, so...
Thank God for that.
If it was like a black dragon, sure.
This is a black iron dragon.
Yeah, no, it's, let me just check what fly speed he has. But I believe you're a day or less.
It doesn't matter because once he's immersed for an hour, he loses the exhaustion immediately anyway.
Yeah, well, it's a day or less. It just depends on whether you need to immerse yourself. Because he's only going about 100 miles, which since he's flying, and he's not stopping to rest, because it depends on how fast his fly speed is, depends on how long you're going to be.
Anyway, continue.
Checking fly speed for the sake of, because before you end up with like multiple levels of exhaustion.
Yeah, he's fine. He'll only get one at most.
Yeah, no. Roll me a d12, Bailey, to determine how early in the day the original encounter was. 8. Yeah, so it's probably getting close to midnight of the second day, so he's flying for just like nearly 18 hours. Nearly, not 18 hours, nearly 30 hours.
Ooh, so can never get to the globe.
Yeah, because you've flown about 90 miles to the Black Cap Mountains. Whereupon being taken into a snowy peak, you are brought and dropped in this room.
Is that creature in there?
That's the dragon.
Update on the dragon.
I'm just using a slightly different token that's not a generic black dragon token. I had it on my PC, but it wouldn't come up in searches because it was in a zip folder.
Fair enough.
It does look better.
Yes.
I really like it. I might watercolor paint it later.
He drops you down. He continues to fly for the last few feet, turning around and landing, looking down at you. Welcome to my... Well, I believe Your kind calls it a lair.
I've been more accustomed to calling it an abode.
Yes. As would I, but you humanoids, I believe you're referred to, are a conspicuous bunch. And you use a very wide array of languages. As you look around, besides the evident large pile of gold and miscellaneous items, you'll notice that this cave has a large amount of obviously visible ore nodes. There are glints of metal within the rock itself. And off the edges is about 100-foot drop into what appears to be natural spring water.
Damn. My father would love this place.
Wow.
I've made myself quite at home over the last several hundred years.
You've done a good job.
Yes, well, when you're estranged from your kind, it kind of helps.
That's true.
Now, to get down to business, and as he walks forwards, his body is engulfed with a purple aura, and he begins to slowly shrink before standing in front of you. Is a man in purple raiments, long black and silver hair. Now, as for why I brought you here, I've been looking for some that I might be able to trust in what I need, and at least yous two seem to fit that bill.
How so?
You showed reverence to the dragons, but not blind devotion or blind anger and hatred. A level of reasonable understanding where I might be able to purvey my point.
That's fair.
Tell me, what do you know of the ancient dragons?
Can I roll a history check?
Sure, both of you can. He's just
Take a picture at home.
He's just asking general dragon
Prepared.
history that you would know.
If anything, I feel just based on my family tree, I wouldn't know much since dwarves didn't really encounter dragons a lot. I'd
Well,
imagine.
I would say not enough to give you advantage,
Yeah,
but
no.
I would give you a default 10 over the 5 you rolled, just on general knowledge. You know as much as the standard person.
Yeah,
Because having an adventuring family, they'd have told you tales.
yeah. I basically know what a dragon is.
You, Trent, know that the dragons are seen as prophets. They're ancient, powerful beasts that have been around since before the kingdoms of man. That they are the ancient dragons for that, which can be hundreds, if not thousands, of years old. No one's 100% sure. The chromatic and metallic dragons are at war, and both both have scholarly dragons that are studying the draconic prophecies for one means or their own. Humans can study the prophecies as well, but because they're so long and intricate, it takes hundreds of years to really find anything more than snippets. The dragons that have been studying them, some have been studying them for 1,000 years, and even they will tell you they know virtually nothing. Bailey, on your 18, you know all of that, and that they the world itself is said to be made of the 3 primordial dragons, and that the Draconic Prophecy is supposed to be a heraldry of the end times in some capacity. It is supposed to tell the creation of the world, a listing of all major events within, and the apocalypse, however it may be. You're also aware that dragons are supposed to be, besides tremendously physically powerful, the older they get, the more adept at magic they get. That's about what you know off the top of your head.
I relay that back in more Lubashian speech, as I don't think I could coherently make something on the spot myself.
Yep. Just
So
give me.
the prophecy shows beginning, middle, and end. And dragon's pretty powerful. That's Ibli's version of it.
Yep. Just a quick moment. Just checking my notes quickly. Yeah, so that is the bare basics, as one would say. There is a fair bit more that you seem not to know.
That makes sense.
But that is to do with everything these days. What do you know of the Ferris dragons? If anything at all.
I'm not even sure I know what Ferris means.
This would be a history check at disadvantage for the pair of you.
Whew. And click. And that makes sense.
Trent, you go. Ferris, isn't that a kind of metal?
At most, yeah.
Ferris, isn't that a kind of metal? So do you mean you would basically mean the metallic dragons? You'd be getting a confusion there. Bailey, with your 17, and this actually makes sense considering your more archaic knowledge, you would know that there'd still be similarities between ferrous and metallic in common for you, but you would also know of two different types of metal dragons that used to fight each other. A long time ago, and you only really know this because of scriptures on like the walls. It's not stories handed down, it's just pictures of different like dragons in metallic carvings and embossings seemingly fighting each other.
I mean, considering where it comes from, yeah, that's a given, pretty much.
Yeah.
Ferris, that's isn't that just metals? Are you a metal dragon? A metallic? That's what they're called.
No, stupid. Two types.
As your little friend here said, it's a confusion within the common language that you speak.
One coin, two sides.
Yes, within Draconic, there we do have more differentiated names. I believe a way to explain it would be using common terms now. That Ferris dragons were seen as and saw themselves as the king dragons, the ruling dragons. And that's what caused a great war between them, the chromatic, the gem, and the metallic. Metallic, chromatic.
Gem dragon?
Yes. Gem dragons. They're all but extinct, but as there are metallic dragons that have scales the like of precious metals. There are Ferris dragons, which have scales the like of more different kinds of robust or... It's very difficult when it comes to just describing the scales, but I'm trying to keep this simple. There are chromatic, which are just plainer coloured scales, tainted with the evil that comes with that territory. And then there is the gem dragons, at minimum, which their scales are gem and crystalline like.
They sound pretty.
They were considered incredibly beautiful to look at. They also held some very interesting powers, a lot of which I have not heard of in hundreds of years. There was rumors that they fled to the Fey plains and other such plains back in the Dragon Wars. What year is it?
Eh.
1,000.
I think it's 2000.
2,000.
It's 1,000 or 2,000. I'd have to check. No, it is 1,000 actually, because it's it's 1990. It's 994. I think the war ends. Either way,
Okay.
you give them that. Oh, and that's by
What?
your human calendar. So the Dragon War would be 45,000 years ago, give or take, by your human calendars.
That's a long time ago.
Yes. The Dragon Wars came about at the emergence of humanoid races, when there was a conflict between the idea of enslavement. Well, I believe would be the term. You had a question.
That's a lot of cycles ago.
Yes. Yes, it is. Well, for one such as you, yes.
So Lubash is at this time just kind of like counting on his fingers how many generations back that could be of orc. And then he keeps losing count and then restarting.
Yes, it was a very long time ago. I believe...
Amount of fingers.
Yeah, that would not surprise me if you were trying to count back. With 45,000 years, that makes it about 60 generations of elves. Or, I think for human generations, it would be about 500 generations of humans.
So it's about
I believe for one of your kind, about 550 to 600 generations of your kind.
Oh. My family
How
tree.
many years ago did you say it was in common?
45,000. $45,000 years. Recorded history goes back like 9,000, I think.
That 5-ish cycles? 3650 cycle. In Grong, of course. Because they measure the lunar cycle, not the year.
Ooh, so yeah, that gets complicated when you have 13 moons.
I just went off a standard regular.
But yeah, so just doing some quick checking. So actually, my numbers are out a little bit. It would be about 100,000 years ago. Or so.
Oh.
Yeah, because apparently everyone law goes back further than I thought it did. Because 45,000 is just before the Kiori invade. But it's still after...
That's a lot more cycles for Iblis.
60,000 the dragons are in contact with the giants.
8,130 cycles ago, that was. Approximately.
Yeah, so
You can get a more accurate reading with 12 moons.
so 150 million years ago, 1.5 million years.
That number's too big for Lubash to
Yes,
count.
that is common races still in primitive states. So that would be about when the Dragon Wars were. I was going off laws from other settings which weren't quite as elaborate.
Yeah.
So 1.5 million years ago.
Oh, that's... Whoa, come on. You keep making this number bigger for Iblis to try and work out.
So
He's just going to stop around.
Yeah.
A few million cycles ago.
Yeah. Most settings don't have... Most D&D settings don't have information that far back. Which is why I went with like a fairly generic, like 45, 50,000.
Iblis gets about 12.3 cycles out of a year from the lunar.
Yeah.
So he ends up with 12,195. So 12,195,121.9 cycles.
Lubash could be at 5.
So he looks here. Longer than any reasonable creature should live. There are a few still around from that age.
Like you?
No. I'm old. I'm not that old.
I'm sorry, I can't really tell.
That's fine. That is the age where gods still walked the plains. Beings like some of the greater demons. There may still be undead from that time.
They smell.
Not long after that, I think there's still at least one giant from that age. Although
Iblis shudders at the term of greater demon mentioned.
Yes, they're unpleasant. And there is at least one dragon left from that time. The Iron
one
King.
more still around.
The Iron King is still around from those days.
Your king?
My ex-king.
Ex-king? You mean like how my brother's my ex-brother because my other brother killed him?
More in the terms of I've been exiled.
Ex-wife. Nudge, nudge. Or ex-lover.
More I disagreed with fundamentals and fled. I wouldn't.
Outcast.
Yes, more or less. I would say they let me leave, but given the various attempts on my life over the years, I believe they may have a purpose for me. I disagreed with, after the longest time, their plans to destabilize the humanoids and cause more wars, more destruction. I believe as the king's words were, put them back where they deserve and belong.
That's not very nice.
The only thing he hates more than the humans, the humanoid races, are red dragons. And one in particular.
They're the dragons I know about. My father killed one. With the help of my mother, but don't let him tell this. I said that.
Yes, well, that is all well and good. Red dragons have an interesting history with my kind. But as for what I wanted to talk to you about, As you can plainly see, I have the ability to shape change.
That was really cool.
This is not an uncommon ability amongst my kind. I believe at
I could be
this
talking to a dragon at any point.
I believe at this time every ruling faction has a dragon in their court, whether they know it or not.
Huh. How can you tell them apart?
You can't, that's the problem.
Oh.
Because our shape-changing abilities are a natural ability that we pertain. It does not show up under spells like Detect Magic. It is not easily nullified by things like magical zones. It was one of the things that they were pushing me towards before I left. Joining a ruling faction, working my way up, becoming an advisor, and then subverting history to our whims. There's
I
not
know what it means.
there's not enough of us left to openly wage war on the humanoids. But getting the humanoids to fight each other, now that's something my kind has been doing for hundreds of thousands of
Honestly,
years.
I don't think we really need the help.
Every major war
Those people
has
stupid
had
enough without your help.
every major war called for by a leader, my kind has had their hand in making. From forging documents to twisting minds and opinions, all in attempts to make you wipe each other out.
Huh. I've also seen the effects of these, but humans and elves and dwarfs doing it to each other. Not dragons doing it to us.
That's the thing. You would never know if it was a dragon. With us hiding as we are,
Am I a dragon?
no. You would know if you're a dragon, but you wouldn't know if you were speaking to one unless we wanted you to. The
Fair.
most evident example I can think of in recent years of dragon is one of the dragons was outed at a royal council 6 years ago. And that information could not be let to spread. And
So what happened?
I believe it's fairly common knowledge what happened. 6 years
I heard
ago,
big war.
6 years ago, the war ended after some peace talks and an accident. That accident was no accident.
You mean the place with the living magic?
Yes. That is a result of, well, believe your common word would be a cover up. When a major capital city had to be, I believe the original term used would be eradicated, but more aptly would be cleansed by
I
the
think my auntie was
intentions.
there.
If they were, I am sorry.
Oh no, they're still alive.
They were one of few then. I had no hand in it. I was within what I believe is now called the Dreadlands or something. I've not had much contact with. I hear words. I hear news.
I hear words too.
I was within the lands during the
I hear
time
him.
Mostly because I was hiding in the mountains, much as I do now. And then there was the cacophonous explosion. And, well, now I grow tired. Either which way, that is some of my history. But what I got lost on track saying is, I want you to try and out as many dragons as you can from their positions of power. In whatever factors you can. If you can remove even one, it would be a great deed.
I think I could help with this.
Just for reference, neither of your characters have dragon marks, do they?
No, I don't.
Fair. And I know Ibli doesn't.
I do have
You
a
can't.
You could have an abhorrent one. Because those
I
aren't race locked.
do, however, have the spy contact because I was born into a spy
Yeah.
thing. So, if anything, I could use that.
It was more it was more asking if you had a dragon mark specifically.
Fair. No, I don't. Do orcs even get marks?
There's actually a mark specifically for half orcs.
Oh. Though, technically, I'm a half elf.
There's marks specifically for half elves. I believe
I know.
one mark is half elf or half orc. It's specifically for a half race.
Cool.
Well, you're half-half, which means you're half of everything.
Yeah, well, for how we're working on things, he counts as half
Yeah.
elf.
Yeah.
Those are halfling marks, too.
He looks at both of you. Do you know of the mark of dragons? I forget what it is called in your common tongue.
Do you mean dragon marks?
No, simplified.
How you get like a mark on your skin at some point that has fancy
Yes, one of those.
fanciness?
One of those.
I've seen them around. I don't have
I've
it.
never seen.
The houses that those belong to. The patriarchs. If you can resolve an issue by outing one of those, there you will find an ancient dragon. You will find a Ferris dragon, a king dragon. Each bloodline that manifests these powers has a trace of king dragon blood in it. That's where the ancient and powerful magics can manifest from.
Huh. So we gotta walk up, find the leader, kill them, and then they're gone. And there's no longer a dragon there.
You would remove a dragon, yes, but killing them will be quite a task. Let alone
I've never
getting
killed a
them.
dragon. What the chance was?
The dragons that run these houses are ancient, almost as old as I am. They change their form every handful of years to make it so they look like they're passing the bloodline down. But in reality, the patriarchs and matriarchs of these houses have been the same being for probably thousands of years.
I knew I should never trust him.
What I am asking is for you to try and depose one of these houses. Because if you can kill one of the patriarchs, the bloodline will continue, but you will remove the control of a dragon from the house. At least I believe the bloodline will continue.
I don't think it affects me if it doesn't.
I can't be 100% sure because the last time one of the dragons were killed, the entire bloodline was wiped out at the same time. So I do not know what happened if that mark is still capable of manifesting.
Interesting.
Are you willing to do this for me?
It leads to one hell of a story.
That it does.
Speaking of stories, what is your name?
My name. It is, I believe in your comment, it would be Kaleth Mogoth Urteth.
I write that down on a piece of
I'll
paper.
put it in chat.
Yeah, I still write down on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
That I pull out of my bag.
But call me whatever you wish. It does not faze me.
Calaf. I'll remember that one.
That is a name that was given to me upon my exile.
What does it mean?
It basically means that I am a forgotten spark.
Calith Mao, the world seal.
Huh.
I do not. I would say you are welcome back whenever, but I do not know how much longer I will be here. Especially now that I have been, well, seen out in the world. It was one of the first times I had left in probably close to 100 years. I'll just be a moment.
Okay. Calaf. Bag. Perfect.
Ibly just gave him a title down outright.
Lubash.
Trent.
Yes.
Ibly just down outright gave him a title, the world seal.
I have. I've completely forgotten if I ever gave Lubash a voice. I think it's also changed like 8 times during this one thing.
I've been able to speak normal this entire time because he understands. Wrong. The only time I speak broken English is when I'm telling you off.
Yeah, I'm assuming I'm just speaking common. I don't know if he can speak Orcish.
Who? Ibly or the dragon?
The dragon.
Ibly can't.
Yeah, I'm talking about the dragon.
Back.
Okay.
Where'd I leave off?
You just told us the name.
I'll be here. You're allowed to welcome back. I've never been outside the first
Yes,
time.
I haven't been outside in about 100 years, in a little over 100 years. I had to leave for, well, I needed more food. While I have ore here, I needed something a bit more substantial after a longer period of time. And I believe they're still looking for me, so I was trying to make a quick passage home.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's fine. By the time I ran across your lot, I believe I had already been seen. That is why I was flying in such a form.
Why don't you just use your human form?
Because I was trying to make a quick getaway. I normally travel in my human form, but the creatures I believe chasing me that had already made me out, I believe would have tried to attack me on the street. So I was trying to get back here where the wards keep me hidden quicker.
That makes sense.
Yes.
It sounds like you could use help.
I could. That is why, when you showed signs of being trustworthy, I brought you here.
I have an idea of how to help in long term as well.
Certainly.
I'd like to reach into my bag and pull out like a little, I guess it'd be kind of coin shaped, and pass to him, which is just a coin that has like a tree with half a hammer on it as well. That's my family symbol. If you meet any other of the Yaldrin family, they will help you if you show them that.
I appreciate this.
There is Orsak, Grig, Zaki, Ek, Reza, Gilfa.
If I come across any other humanoids, I will show them this coin, and if they recognize it, they recognize it. I do not plan to leave my lair for a while.
I mean, that's fair.
If worst come to worst, you'd always hide it in Grung home.
Yes, if worst comes to worst. You are welcome to stay here as long as you need. I believe your traveling companions will be headed this way shortly as well.
Probably.
You are also free to go and meet up with them.
I personally think it'd be smarter that don't know where you are. I can't speak for all of them, but I think some of them would want to fight you.
Some might.
I think that's very dumb for them, and I'd like to protect them.
If they will listen to reason, I am happy for them to come here.
I'm not too sure.
I can defend myself, but if you can reason with them to talk to me cordially, I am happy to. I am also not opposed to you telling them of what I have asked you to do. For this, it would be difficult for them to aid you without knowing what is going on. I just pray you do not spread this information too far and wide. As I said, there is already a target on me. If the other dragons find out that I am actively conspiring against them, even the wards on this place will no longer keep me safe. I'll be a moment. I was called.
Okay. I've completely made up that entire family thing off the top of my head, by the way.
Lovely. It's the best thing, though. Well, you made up an entire family thing, and I'm just like, Grung offer hospitality.
I mean,
that's not what Grung do.
I'm just dumb.
Yeah, I've noticed. Evely has more common sense than you do.
Oh, no, I mean,
Evely's only got a 12 in intelligence.
I meant me personally dumb and making a whole family thing.
Oh yeah, of course.
Also, I have 11 intelligence. I'm not dumb, I'm just...
Evely has trouble with the language because it's not his first.
That's also my issue. But no one else really speaks Orcish, so I just keep speaking Common.
Any idea if anyone else in the party other than Mikey knows Abyssal?
No idea. All I know is I speak Elvish, Orc, and Common, so...
Yeah, Evely speaks Grung, Common, and Abyssal.
Fair.
The reason he speaks Abyssal is because of the favored targets.
Yeah.
His favored targets are beasts, Yuntai, and humans.
Yeah.
Yuntai is where he learned Abyssal from.
Yeah, because they, I believe, racially speak Abyssal.
Makes sense.
Common's where he got it from humans.
But yes. So if you wish to tell your companions, you are free to do so. You're also free to bring them here if you believe they can be trusted. I am not fearing for my safety, but if they attack me, I will defend myself. And you can tell them that.
I kind of, want to say if you need help to, message me and I'll come as quick as I can, but I can't fly. Actually, I can, but only for a certain time out of day. But, If there was a quick way to teleport here, I would if he needed help. But I can't. I don't teleport. Because I can't. If I could, I would.
He walks over to the mound of gold, opens the chest, starts digging through. Teleportation, you say? And he pulls out a wand. Walks back and proceeds to and presents it to you. With this, and he hands over a scroll with it. With both of those, if you know a practitioner of the arcane arts, someone who can cast a teleportation circle spell, I think bards might be able to.
I will have a look.
I know wizards can. I've handed you a scroll with the circle for my lair on it. That wand will allow you to teleport back here and to any other teleportation circles.
Bard, sorcerer, wizard.
So Trent, you can use it.
Yeah.
I'm also going to say it doesn't need attunement because it's not a combat item.
Yeah.
Even though it is like a 5th level spell or something.
Yeah, it's a 5th level.
But because it also takes multiple minutes, it takes a minute to cast the spell or something. I'm not going to worry about attunement.
Yeah, casting time 1 minute.
Yeah, because it takes a minute. I'm not going to worry about attunement because you're not going to be able to use this in combat.
Yeah, no.
Yes. So you open the scroll and you see there that carved into the stone near here is the same matching circle. Feel free to use that wand to teleport to any other circles you know of, but it will allow you and up to insert number of people, I believe it's the entire party, to return here. Worst case scenario, I believe you'll be able to use 2 charges to bring any additional people here. I forget how many people teleport circle can transport.
I'm currently reading.
But the wand will have insert X many charges. It'll probably have at least 4 charges that will recharge. Meaning you'll be able to send the party even if it's by 2 batches.
I should be able to do it in 1 batch because there's no amount of people.
It's just the duration of
it's
one
a duration,
round.
So yeah, you'll be able to do
It's
it
a
in 1
10-foot
batch.
diameter circle on the ground for 1 round. So as long as someone moves in there within a round, we're fine.
Yeah, so you can do the entire party. So yeah, it'll probably have 4 charges. It'll have a D4 charges recharging a D4 per week or something. Yep.
Considering Ibli's home location, do you reckon they'd have one?
Probably. Whether Ibli would know it, on the other hand.
Well, they'd probably be in the middle of the freaking city, knowing Ibli's
Probably,
city.
but Ibli also not being an arcane caster may not realize what it is, since he's probably never seen it used.
Would I have actually seen this used at all?
You'd be aware of it. You'd know that most major cities have one, but you wouldn't have any other circles memorized.
Yeah.
As not having had the spell yet, you've got no reason to memorize circles.
Actually, wouldn't surprise me if Ibli's people made talismans of the same shape.
Huh. I thank you for your gift. I put in. If you ever need help, let me know. And I will be here in about a minute.
That's a trinket that I've had no use for ever since it was left here during a previous assault.
Oh.
I am capable of casting the spell without such an item, so it serves me no purpose.
I also have a question. So, do I just draw the circle with the wand on the ground and then it works, or?
You don't have to draw the circle on the ground with the wand, but you need to draw the circle on the ground with something. It is traditionally, when you are casting the spell, drawn with chalk. More permanent circles are carved and then enchanted. But since the wand holds the material components for the spell itself, just dragging a finger or a stick or something through the ground and making a legible copy of the
I
spell
would draw it with the wand.
would create it. Yes. Your walking stick there would probably be just as an apt apparatus.
Even better.
You would just
It's also a sword, and then I pull it out and make it a sword.
interesting. Yeah, I will say you lot are a creative bunch.
You never know when you need to sneak a weapon somewhere.
He just sort of holds his hand up, and as he turns it over, large clawed nails extend from his fingers. I wouldn't know the feeling, but I understand the sentiment as he turns the hand back and the claws disappear.
I can do that too. I just have to get really angry first. He's seen it. He's felt it.
Again, understandable. Now, do you have any more questions for me? Particularly you, little one, as you've raised some interesting points so far.
Hmm. Ibly just thinking about how much danger you put yourself in doing this.
Compared to what I was already in, not a lot. And when you get to be as
Now he has us for backup.
What was that, Trent?
I just said that now he has us for backup if he needs it.
Yes. And outside of my kind, I believe there was 7 of you? 8, maybe? The only 8 of your kind to know that I exist, outside of rumors and mistaking me for other dragons. Normally I fly high up, so I'm mistaken for normal black dragons.
That's fair. Black dragons aren't nice. I like you though.
I was flying as low as I was because one of the creatures chasing me currently was a silver dragon. Or a white, I'm not 100% sure. It was a color that would blend into the sky. I only know
Blue?
because it was not blue, because its breath was that of ice.
Oh,
I only know this because while I was flying, it attacked me from within the clouds. And I had to make a hasty retreat closer to ground level, where the playing field would be evened, were it to come that low.
I mean, that's fair.
My plan was to
If we
duck
saw
into...
2 dragons fly over above of us, I don't know what we would have done. I think half of them would have run.
Well, the other dragon was there. I actually think your group's presence is what stopped it from immediately attacking me.
You're welcome. I guess.
Well, I think it thought it could take me alone, but not with any sufficient backup.
Well, next time I'll throw Ibly at the other one.
I wouldn't recommend it, but if your friend's game, it was an
Just
interesting
shaking a
strategy.
fist, Lubash.
It makes for good distraction. Sorry, Ibly.
Well, as I said, it's an interesting strategy. Not one I've heard employed much. Maybe just would have...
I've heard of it used a few times by my father back when his party was adventuring. So, the story goes as I was told, was that they were breaking into a fort. Evil ruler, I'm not too sure. Either way, they had 2 gnomes. My father was a very strong man. He picked them up and threw them over the wall. They were carrying ladders. And then they just let the ladders fall down the wall, and then the rest of them climbed up. It was very resourceful.
Yes, it was.
Lubash learned resourcefulness from father.
I can tell.
Father very small though. Not gnome small, but not off big.
Interesting.
He's a He's a, I am half elf.
It is interesting that your kinds are able to interbreed. Does not work too well for dragons.
Isn't that how dragonborns are made?
That's
Oh, no.
that's what the
No, no,
history
no,
books
wrong.
might lead you to believe. The dragonborns are not so simple. Dragonborn are an experiment. Dragons, when they attempt to breed with your kind through these various shape changes like I am, generally it has complications. If they are lucky, it results in what I believe is called if we call them, they're of tainted blood. You said you're a half orc, so I believe the term would be half dragon.
Oh, I'm a half elf, but I am also half orc. So I get
Yes,
this a little confusing. I look orcish, but I'm actually more elfish. I'm not
the
really sure what it is I am anymore.
the taint of
It's
dragon,
taste.
the corruption of dragon blood amongst your kind. It is more prevalent the stronger the kind of dragon. Chromatics and metallics like golds and silvers and bronzes, the weaker dragon kinds, their blood dilutes easier. So while it is still dangerous and inherently unstable, it is more viable. Dragons like the gem dragons and the ferrous dragons like my kind, it's more of a death sentence than a blessing. Either the the bearer or the child dies during the 9 months, or the child, the magic can be a little bit much to contain. I've heard of them
That sounds
being
messy.
I've heard of them, well, erupting, I believe would be the
That
term.
sounds very messy.
I believe it would be. It is very much why my line will likely die with me.
I'd offer help for your line, but
There is
I like my insights inside.
that besides the fact you would not be able to help, there is not much anyone could do to help.
What if I find another dragon?
As I said, interbreeding between dragons does not particularly end well. And with me being ostracized as I am from the other iron dragons,
What if you gave a dragon mark?
if I spent the time to try and create and make a dragon mark, it would allow at least an aspect of my lineage to carry over. But
Well,
I'm not privy to how the other dragon marks were made, but with some research I could try.
well,
It
if
wouldn't
we
be
want
like
help,
other
Lubash
dragon
likes
marks, it would
help.
be your dragon mark.
One at a time. I couldn't hear both of you at once.
You first.
Not like others, be yours.
Yes.
Uh, hey, Mr. Dragon, do you speak Orcish or Elvish?
Give me a moment.
As it would help me a lot better more.
I get a feeling that this is slowly getting worse and worse because we're both having to stick with a language that we're not too familiar with. Try it so the other person can understand what we're saying.
checking that as a simpler reason.
I just had a terrible thought.
What?
If the dragon gave marks like what Raymond's character has, a dragon Ibley.
No. I mean, yes, but no.
Understand what I got at there?
You just need to check the effects of a couple of the spells he can cast by default.
That's fair.
See if any of them will actually help.
At least give me time to think about what I wanted to say.
Trent, for reference, do you have comprehend languages?
I will check.
Because it's a bard spell.
I do not.
Okay.
Oh my god, that would have made this so much easier.
Sure.
Because you gotta understand
Yeah.
Ibley.
Because the downside is tongues only works on a single target.
Fair. I can just speak in common, that's fine.
Well, tongues doesn't remove the speaking from common. It would just grant you perfect understanding.
Oh, fair. Well, it's more for the dragon's sake for me to, speak. If he can understand Orcish or Elvish, then my...
Surely if he understands Grungy, he knows
yeah.
Orcish or Elvish, those
So-
are way more common.
So he just sort of looks at the he looks at the pair of you and touches himself with a glowing finger. I have cast the spell I believe you called Tongues. I will be able to understand you in whatever languages you speak, although it will come down to a case of if you're speaking languages the other does not understand, you will not be able to understand each other.
I will translate in a minute. So, I need his name.
Lubash.
No, not my character. Clef, was it? Yes, Clef. So
Well,
my plan was, if we worked out how other dragons make their dragon marks, then you could... Well, I would be happy, and I'm sure my friend Ibley, the only word you'll understand, would be happy to wear it in honor of your heritage and lineage. You've given us a gift. Let us gift you internal life? Question mark. My family is very much known to harbor orphans and bring them into our family. That's why we're so big. It's why I'm related to gnomes and the Goliaths and a Tabaxi and all these others. So I'm happy to welcome you into the Eldrin family if you'd have us. I'm thinking of getting something here. But yes, also, if it would be happy for you, I would gladly like to change my forms from when I rage in my forms to a bear, which is my orcish side of my family's spirit animal token, to also taking the form of yourself. I can make claws, I can make a mouth and a tail. I've never used a tail because bears don't have tails worth attacking. But I'll gladly take your tail. That cannot creepy. I am sorry. Isn't that right, Ibley? In common.
mm-hmm.
Just, no idea what you said, but He just looks at you. I am quite honoured by your offer. As I said, you are free to stay for a couple of days while I research this, or you can go and try and find your friends and come back at a later date. I will look into the possibilities of making a dragon mark, because I do appreciate the offer of allowing my lineage to live on at least some respect. As for you taking on my visage in battle, while I am honored, I will leave the choice to you, as I do believe it is also commendable that you honor your own family lineage.
My family would be very proud I'm taking my own forms as well. I can mix and match. I can have one dragon and one bear. As for the tail, well, tails will always be a dragon because bears don't really have them.
Understandable.
How hard is the fight with a tail?
Now, you little one, did you have anything you wished to share? While I can understand you perfectly.
We have a. I don't know if it'll help you with your study, but we have a few friends who have glowing marks that do things.
I actually don't think you do anymore. I believe you were actually the only one in their
Raymond.
Oh, yeah, Raymond has glowing marks. He's be the only one you...
Technically, there's a spell singer in there too with marks that glow and do things.
Well, yeah. I'll give you that one. Haley has magic tattoos. They don't so much glow as they're just written there. But I'll give you Raymond. I forgot about you referring to Raymond. But that you don't have any dragon marks in the party. Not since Azia left.
Died. Didn't get a choice in the lever.
Yeah, well, Azia left the party through one mean or another.
He died so many times.
Yes. If you have someone who I believe studying would be helpful, I would appreciate you bringing them here if we do wish to proceed with this course of action. But I'm not going to force you to bring anyone here.
I won't force people either. That's quite rude. But I have the Tabaxi I mentioned. She knows magic. Same with my auntie, the one that survived the big boom.
Hmm.
I think I'd rather bring Laura though. Magic in the mountain's a little unhinged.
Wrong City have lots of magic users. Ibli do little bits of magic himself.
I can imagine there's plenty of magic out there.
Oh yeah. Even I can do magic. A little bit.
Magic has always been a very fabric of the world. Although back when I remember your kinds, I think only the elves were adept at casting it. And I think what are they called? The very, very little green ones. And the not so little red ones. Very angry.
No. No. Oh! What are they called?
Gorbir.
Like mini dragons. Very ferocious.
No, not the mini dragons. I'm not exactly sure why they came to be a thing. I believe they're creation of the chromatics. No, they look like, and he points to Lubash. You, but like your size, and points to Ibli.
Goblin?
I believe that's what you would call them.
And
And
does the other one kind of look like the other U's, but his size?
no, same structure as a goblin, but a bit bigger and red.
uh,
They had they used to live not far from here. They were one of the big kingdoms before, well, an issue arose.
Could I roll a history check?
Sure.
Because out of character, I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about, but I don't know if in character, Lubash
Out
will.
of character, you know what I'm talking about. I've used it of a previous character.
Ibli has no clue.
In character, you're pretty sure he's aware. Pretty aware he's referring to hobgoblins.
You mean, big like me, red not like me. Hobgoblins.
I believe that's what...
There's more than one kind of.
Oh yeah. I'm sure there's more than one type of you.
No, one Ibli.
Oh, sad.
Lots of grung, though.
That's what I meant.
I'll be a minute.
Whoops, I almost cut you off mid-thing there, because I'm like, hang on a minute, I'm gonna wait for him to say it, not for you. I assumed you were speaking common due to, like, the broken English.
Yeah.
So I went more than one?
Sorry, what was that?
What?
What'd you say?
So I went more than one? Because Iblis never met a hobgoblin.
I'm back.
Iblis only met goblins.
Hobgoblins are much angrier.
I return. Yeah, hobgoblins are angrier.
Like mini dragons?
Not that angry.
No, more like
Mini people. Mini people with sticky fingers.
more like just angry, like you've had a bad night's sleep, but people.
Sound like Ibli cousin.
Sounds like lots of people's cousins from what I hear. I know a couple of dragons like it. They could never really get to sleep and they were irritable and cranky constantly.
Sounds like Zatro. Zatro is always a sour bunch.
It seems to be a trait that transcends species.
Transcends?
Goes beyond.
Beyond what?
Life.
Grumpy people from not sleeping is something that's common amongst all things.
Common words weird.
Ibli,
Mm-hmm.
do you think it's smarter for us to go meet them or for them to come here? Them being the rest of the party. Because I'm not sure about you, but I feel like what's Raymond's character again?
Zelda.
The one that calls themselves Zelda. I feel like she might want the treasure, and I'd rather not Zelda die to our friend Klaus. He's very wise and strong.
Me feel
No, not so
Captain
much.
Idiot Bad for here.
I mean, I could stop him from attacking, but so could Klaus. Klaus doesn't need us to protect him, but yeah. I think it'd be better if we went and met them. One, so if we can then know we can trust them with the location of him, then we can bring them here with the teleportation. And then we could get our marks. Or we could help bring someone else back with the marks. If you get what I mean.
Let's do that one.
Yeah.
Take hostage. Fun.
No hostage. They'll come willingly.
Okay. No hostage, but still bring.
Yes. Bring us friend.
Use rope.
If they ask. I think our friend would rather us not drag someone here unwillingly.
Help with work.
Yes, but I'd rather them not be fearing for their life working with a dragon. I think I'd rather find what's the words in commons? Bushy-eyed, big-tailed person to.
If he powerful like he is, they won't remember.
But why would they not want to remember? Stories make the world go round. I will infuse years' time when I settle down to write songs of my own adventures and poems and stories, I will definitely be using this encounter.
Lubash,
Yes, simply.
we minions.
Us? Minions? For Clough? You,
World say.
no. We're doing this willingly. We are Clough's friends.
I have said several times you are not required to do anything. I just request and entrusted you with a job. If you go on from here and decide against taking any action, I will hold no ill will.
Oh no. Lubash is really good at keeping his word. Lubash will help.
World say. A symbol of friendship with Grung and work. Take this. Literally pulls off like a wooden totem necklace and literally just like a piece of bark with a symbol carved into it.
He takes it. Why, thank you. And he walks over and he places it on the top of a rock that seems to be roughly chair-shaped. I would put it on, but I do not wish to damage it when I revert forms.
Makes sense.
For if I were to forget, it may
Break.
it may. I get very big. I'll put it as nicely as I can, and I do not wish to break it.
World say.
Yes.
Why you have Horde?
This horde has been built up over a very long time through adventurers and other like coming to slay me through hearing of the big bad dragon of the mountain. Some of it has been acquired through trade of various ores, because while I feast upon iron ore, I have no use for gold, silver, and the like that I sometimes come across while digging. Some of it has just been slowly accrued over a long period of time from investments.
Ooh! Ibli, remember, Ibli have something you might like.
Oh?
Either on me or it beetle. Let me check.
You need to figure out who's got that.
Yep. So, judging by what item it is, I know it. It's up most likely Ibli has.
Mm-hmm.
Ibli proceeds to pull out the genie clothes.
Ah, yes, those would be on Ibli.
Might fit, but too big.
Now
Them, not you.
that is interesting. Those are not normal clothes for your kind. I can see that they are permeated with magic. Not so much to have a tangible effect, but they've been in contact with a magical being for an extended period of time. Where did you get those?
Magic man in lamp.
Oh! I pull out the lamp.
Was in lamp.
He wasn't here. This is now Lubash's.
I may have chosen well.
I put the lamp down. Lubash in!
Punk,
Lubash out!
punk.
See? Lubash's.
That is a interesting trick, not one that I think I could replicate.
I have no idea how I do it. I just say Lubash in and and then I say out. Then I come out.
Sounds like
He
you were
changed
I'm
still
very
having.
sick when I do it more than twice.
He changed too.
Oh yeah, I was wearing something similar at one point, but then I have my nice clothes back.
Sounds like you are encountering new abilities that you are still coming to terms with.
Yeah. These bracelets are new too. Tink tink.
Hmm. I do. I would accept your clothes, but these clothes come with the form. I can change them whenever I take this form. So I do not have much need. Where those clothes may benefit you in some respect. At worst, use them to buy a meal on me.
Ibli don't need money,
Well, you may not need money. The rest of
but
the
Ibli
world.
don't fit way too big.
Well, then trade them for something. While Ibli does not need money, Ibli does need food.
Proceeds to just pull out like dried, roasted not cockroaches, crickets on a stick. Ibli got food.
I think you missed my point, but very well.
He has.
Does Waltzy get lonely here?
I used to. I've been alone for a long time. I've gotten used to it.
Can't have Waltzy lonely. Ibli may stay.
If you wish to stay, your friend and you can wait. You can wait for your friends. Your other friend is ready to leave if they wish. It makes no difference to me, as is. I will be diving into my studies, at least for the moment.
When Beetle get here, Ibli make you meal.
I will not say no to the company, but at the same time, it is not required. I will say it gets rather cold here at night, as we are up in the mountains. And I do not have much in the way of entertainment. I mostly keep to myself and deciphering various things and keeping an eye on the world.
Lubash thing.
It's true. James, completely off topic. Fairy fire, would that actually cause like a warmth?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I
fair.
believe
believe
it's
it
like
specifically
dazzling
states no.
lights.
It literally just lights up things for a target, so they're
Yeah.
blind.
It might also
Yeah,
it might also do some damage. It depends.
I don't think it does any damage.
No, I don't think it does either. I think it is like makes things have advantage and like I think it like,
Sure does.
negates stuff. These looks
Yeah.
but as for it getting cold, I do have various ways of keeping it at least somewhat cozy and warm in here. If you two are planning on staying till your friends arrive, I do appreciate the company at least for now.
We will wait. I've enjoyed
Ibli
this.
feels sorry that you've been alone for a long time.
That.
Ibli miss family.
It comes with the territory. There's not much I could do about it. If I really needed companionship, and when I get particularly lonely and feel like I have to talk to people, those would be the times where I would take this form or a similar form and would walk to the nearest towns.
But Klaus, you're now officially in the Yaldarin family. Whether you like it or not, we have adopted you now. I'll add you to my family tree at a later date. However, family stays a family. We'll wait until our friends come here. And then I'd like to take my lute off and just kind of start strumming, not like anything particular, just a really nice, simple tone.
Give me a moment to check his spells again. What does that one do?
Sam.
Just while we're here, I want to check what a couple of his spells does for like anything he'd do for you guys, like in the immediate.
I mean, I'll be fine. I have my clothes are shiftweave clothes, so I can. They have like 6 different outfits in the same clothing, and I'm surely I'd have a cold weather suit.
Mm.
They also mend themselves.
Ibli don't. Ibli comes from a swamp. It's humid all year round. Ibli's cold stuff's on the beetle.
Well, hopefully the beetle will get here soon for you.
The beetle's like sprinting full speed constantly.
Right. If we don't get cold, if we could wear big clothes and wrap up around multiple times.
It'll take Serena to like freaking tie the beetle down to stop it running during the night.
Yeah. Worst comes to worst, I can always do like entangle, and then we can. I'm pretty sure I have a tinderbox as well. I have an explorer's kit back, so yeah, there's a tinderbox in that, and I can just light that 20-foot area on fire.
It should be.
Could always burn some blowgun darts.
He just sort of walks over to one of the rocks. As he touches it, it turns into a fire pit. Using the Shape Stone spell. And then he walks over and with an unnatural strength picks up a large mass of iron ore, places it in there, and then just holds his hand over the top of it for a minute as it slowly begins to glow red. This should keep the area warm enough for now. And as he proceeds to just continue to talk to you for a few minutes, the iron ore slowly melts into a slag that stays glowing red in the bottom of the stone reservoir. Through excessive use of heat metal.
Forgive Ibli for asking if wrong, but may Ibli look at Horde?
You can have a look through, but do not take anything for now. I always have to go and find out like a thing from this book because he's got a spell I'm not familiar with.
Fair.
Which I think is like hidden somewhere in this book that I can't find because it's ended with an asterisk. So.
May I ask what book? If we could help.
It's a homebrew one. So I haven't like uploaded it to the Google Drive yet.
So Lubash will just keep playing a general tune, changing it up every now and then. Just general, insert generic RPG tavern tunes here.
So Ibli's looking, but Ibli's also like sorting it out at the same time because it's a terrible mess.
Yep.
Also change to random tavern songs and whatnot that I've known and learned from my mother and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I'll roll performance check, because why not? Nice.
Well, you've definitely got this cave feeling very atmospheric.
I'm guessing he rolled very well.
I rolled a 27, which is the highest I can.
Oh, you crit.
Yeah. I'd also like to perform a Song of Rest, so if people, need a heal, at some point during this.
Wait, question, did we get a long rest mid-flight?
Probably.
Still do Song of Rest anyway, because, well, we're resting.
Yep.
Also, if anyone walks in that cave and they're swinging a sword and being all aggressive and they're still hearing the music, I'll be very confused.
Trent.
Yo.
You know when you attacked Ibli last session?
Yep.
And how you did, like, I don't know, like 20-something damage?
Something like that.
Ibli has 70 health.
Nice. I knew you have a bunch of health.
He has a fair amount of health for a little frog.
I have 83. Which is...
You're barbarian plus bard.
I'm a barbarian bard, but I rolled
barbarian.
My bard health, and really averagely for my barbarian health.
I watched me roll Ibli's hit points and was quite thoroughly pleased with how I rolled them. Lots of high numbers.
Yeah. Look, if we were lower level, I probably would never actually attack you with Raging, but at level 7, I'm like, I'm not going to kill Ibli, even if I crit.
Either which way, that's where we'll call it for now, with you lighting up the atmospheric music and him just Ibly sorting through the trove. Basically, you are waiting probably a couple of days for your, at this point, a day or two for your party to arrive.
In that time, I assume Ibli asked if he was allowed to swim, have a swim down in the thing because
Yeah.
he's not going to go that long without being submerged.
Yeah, no. You're told you're allowed to go swim. It's apparently nice, pleasant water. It's a mineral spring, unsurprisingly.
It'll be the most refreshed Ibli's ever felt.
Yeah, but that's where I will stop.